If you weren't anything like me, they're just happy to be a tortoise, Dad. Hey, you got home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state, nation, and world that we live in. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for being here. And yes, it is the return of the Fernando Tortosuela. Thought he was gone. Thought he was gone. Couldn't find him anywhere in the backyard. There's no way he could have escaped, although he is trying to be a little Houdini all the time, especially when he's looking for the ladies. And he disappeared. So Beans looked for him, Becky looked for him, everybody looked for him. I couldn't find him, and then pop, just like that, boom, there he is, hanging out, doing his thing. Yeah, I took a picture of him, and he dropped a deuce right in front of me. I'm like, okay, that's how you're gonna say welcome back, Dad. Good to see you, Dad. And in like a good dad, I ran immediately out. He's got all the grass to eat, all the plants. He's got all of that stuff, but I hadn't seen him in a bit. So I just quick ran to the store up in the corner and just got my man some lechuga. Mm-hmm. Got my man a little lettuce. He's out there chomping on it now. We dig us some Fernando. So, and by the way, yes, we don't have to check with Becky. It is not an invasive species. It's people were doing stupid things, and there's too many of them, or whatever. Who cares? I've adopted a desert Sonoran desert tortoise. So there he is. Fernando Tortosuela is back with a vengeance. Having a lot of fun with that. Speaking of, I've been recapping over the last couple of days an amazing trip, probably one of the best vacations, if not the best vacation I've had in my life. And a fishing trip down in Mexico, or the times I got to get out there and throw a line. And as you travel with people you haven't traveled with before, I traveled with my girlfriend and her family, and you get to know everybody very well. We're in a house, all in a house together. You're doing things together. You're driving together. 3-hour drive together, 4 hours, whatever it was, and you get to know some people. And one of the funniest things that I learned was from her dad, when he told me that when she learned how to fish, my girlfriend was deathly afraid of getting hooked in the back of the head. So she had this amazingly awkward cast. Might remind you a little bit of Charles Barkley's golf swing. If you ever have to Google that, it is absolutely awful. But it was one of these, you duck when you throw the rod, you just kind of do one of those flinch, like you're sure you're going to get just snagged. And I thought, okay, I can't really be mad at that, because you are dealing with it. I have tied so many hooks and lures, my fingers just almost don't register when I'm getting hooked by a hook. I'm so used to it. I have that expectation, especially with treble hooks. I have that expectation, and it's challenging. There was an invention. You all know this too. So many times in your life, you have been like, why the hell didn't I think of that? Or, oh, in this case, I thought of that already. Why didn't I take action and bring it to market like somebody else did? And one of those was a little plastic piece that you can have on a little lanyard, a little plastic piece that you basically hook the hook. You sandwich the hook into this little plastic piece of nothing, and you can twist and do all that and tie your knots and not get hooked up and not get your fingers bleeding. And I always thought of that. I was going to call it the Palomar Pal. That's kind of funny, right? I love alliteration. And I just didn't do anything with it. Someone else did and made some money. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, he made $1 million. I bet you, if dude did it right, if dude put it on a tanker from China, he definitely did it right, and you probably made him. I mean, good for him or her, by the way. They took action where your host Mike Russell did not. I was busy trying to become a radio show host. I was too busy. So anyway, it's a legitimate fear when you're casting it. You think, that thing's going to get me. When you're on a small boat, it's a legitimate fear that you're going to get hooked. It is a legitimate fear. And now I'll tell you, while I was out there, I was shore fishing, so I was swinging for the fences. I was swinging. What's up, Lynn? I was swinging Barry Bonds style. I was trying to just jack that lure 100 yards. And in a lot of cases, I needed to, because the surf was so rough. So I needed to get up and over that surf, and I was swinging hard. And it got to a point where I'm standing on this reef rock, and not reef rock, just rock, a very sharp, jaggedy, ouchy rock. And I got my stance. And when I had both of my feet on solid footing, I was taking, boy, those casts were everything I had, every single thing I had. And all of a sudden, Out of nowhere, intern Beans appears behind me like a ninja. And I'm like, baby, whoa, hey, that's how dad snags you. That's how dad casts you about 40 feet that way. I can't, no, holy mackerel. I almost hooked my kid. And I'm like, you see me out here. Your dad is swinging for the fences. You come sneak up behind me like a damn sneak attack. That's how people get shanked. Or hooked in this case. How about this guy right here? Check this out. How about this guy right here? Look. Look at this guy. Yes, he has a lure in his face. Bro, is that a lure in your face? Yeah, look at this guy. That is a legitimate lure in his face. Look at that thing. Front and center. Now, here's why I bring this. I saw this and it's just hilarious. It's a fishing fail, and we've had it. I've had kids get snagged. I've snagged things that I don't want to snag, and it just kind of is the way of things. But there is a legitimate way to getting a hook out of a body part. And most, in this case, it's somebody's face. Now, you can, and I don't recommend it, but I've done it. I just pulled the thing out. I think that's the best, to me, is the best. But I'm me. So much if I get a big cut, if I get a big cut and there's like a flap of skin, I will cut the flap of skin off because I don't like the dry. It's just me. It's not recommended. I don't recommend you do that in any way. It's just how I've always done things. So there are two recommended, according to Oceanic whatever Institute of hooks in the face. The fishing line method is one of them. Now I'm gonna read this out to you here. Let me get the spectacles on so I get this right. Put a fishing line through the bend of the hook with enough slack that you can pull it straight backwards or directly in line with the hook shaft. While holding the shaft of the hook, push the hook slightly downward and inward away from the barb to disengage the barb. Keeping consistent pressure, quickly jerk the fishing line so the hook pops out. How is this any different than just yank the thing? Damn it, it got me again. Then there's a wire cutting method. I'm not kidding. This is recommended removal of a fish hook from your face or your beak. If the tip of the hook entered near the surface of the skin, push it up. Yeah, that's painful. And through the skin. Then cut it off just behind the barb with wire cutters. Lastly, remove the rest of the hook by pulling it back through the way it entered. Afterwards, wash it thoroughly and apply a loose dressing with antibiotic ointment. Tell me how either of these recommended methods is any different than just pulling the damn thing out. I'm going to pull the damn thing out. That's my recommendation. Just pull the damn thing out. Look at that. That guy has that right in his face. I just pull it right out. It's right there. The suggestions continue. After removing the hook, the national, what is this thing? What is this organization? So it's not the National Association of Hooks and the National Library of Medicine, NLM for the cool kids. The NLM says, do not close the wound with tape or a bandage because doing so increases the risk of infection. Then you should monitor the wound for signs of infection, such as redness, swelling, pain, and drainage. Yeah, there's going to be swelling. There's going to be pain. And how about the redness? Redness is blood. Yeah, you got red on you. Something right there. That kid right there. You got some red on him right there. Look at that. That's red. That is red. So this guy's rolling around with a hook in his face. Yeah, I'm going to monitor for that. Again, the weird things that we do for social media is staggering because that guy should have just taken that out immediately. What was he waiting for? Just pull the thing out. Y'all are fishing. You have pliers. So the National Library of Medicine suggests that you keep a pair of wire cutters. You add those to your bag and a first aid kit that has some antibiotic, antiseptic, whatever. Let's call it what it is. Come on, Gen X. Come with me. Bactine. Bactine, believe it or not, and I'll try to get Will Payne on. Will Payne does some amazing tattoo art and did my leg. And I got to tell you that he sprays Bactine on it. It makes everything feel better. Like immediately. Like my leg is sleeved. It wasn't a village. We're talking about 5-6 hours at a clip. I was hurting, especially right behind the knee. Oh, that's where the hummingbird is. Yes, I love hummingbirds. Sue me. That's where it is. Bactine. Done. Fantastic. But that's that to me. That just seems really excessive with the wire cutting, because that's going to be wildly painful. Pull the damn thing out. That's what I'm saying. Go grab your needle nose and pull them out. Why did we have to finesse this? Why is there even an article written specifically on how to remove a hook? There's two separate ways. One involves a fishing line, and the other the wire cutters. Just cut it out. But this is why I bring this up, because it's important. Get a big boy. Get a big boy first aid kit. You all have heard me say it time and time again. For 11 years, we've been doing this show. It's time to upgrade, and not a CVS or Amazon or Walgreens first aid kit. It's time. It's time to upgrade to the big boys. I have like 4 of them around. It's like my med kit, or I'll have to find again, I'm not endorsed by them. It's just the one I use. And it is, I mean, everything's in there. Instructions are in there. Tourniquets are in there. If you're hunting without tourniquets, you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting yourself in danger. We can talk about, I know tomorrow's FAFO Friday. And I got a special one. It is absolutely fantastic. But what we'll do is on Monday, we'll talk about this guy that survived a bear attack. And we'll go through some of the pictures on this. It's absolutely staggering. But that guy had a big boy first aid kit. And it's time to, you say it's time to grow up, Peter Pan. Yeah, it's time to grow up and get a big boy first aid kit. So I encourage you guys to do that, because I think it's an important lesson. Here is an interesting thing that I found. We deal with all things outdoors on this. It's not just fishing. It's not just hunting. We deal all things outdoors. I was watching a really interesting few, I wouldn't say a series. It was kind of a couple consecutive episodes of Meat Eater with Steve Rinella. And he went into the Amazon. He went fishing. I mean, piranha, everything. I mean, in the cool techniques that the cool things that these tribes make in these tribal communities, that make their own arrows and their own bows. And you had to watch the guy do it. Yeah, I mean, even make the string out of the plant. And it's absolutely fascinating to watch. And something that I don't know if it's bucket list for me. It seems a bit excessive, but I mean, hey, if I've got unlimited resources and unlimited time, let's just, let's get a trip to the Amazon together and make it happen. Or if I like to get, 50 shots before I take off to the Amazon. But anywho, a remote Amazon tribe was given an opportunity to basically see the outside world. And no, not a flight to Disney World. They were given Starlink. They were given internet. You see, Starlink, if you don't know, is Elon Musk's internet. There's just these. I forgot to tell you. I don't know if intern Beans has the picture, or maybe one of the other girls has the picture. But when we were in Mexico, we looked up in the sky and we saw a light phenomenon. We did. And now the government told us last year that we have aliens, and everybody said, whatever. We saw about 24 lights in a perfect line that were moving right to left. I think we were looking south, so east to west. No, either way. Whichever way it's going. It was going that way. And all of them were disappearing at the same spot. They were moving in line, in unison. It almost looked like drones, like the little drone shows that we're seeing now. Instead of fireworks, you're seeing these drone shows, which are amazing. But we saw them and they were just disappearing. And we're blown away. We're like, did we just see UFOs? Come to find out that a little bit of research the next day, those are Starlink satellites that move in unison, and they circle the Earth every 90 minutes. So if you see that, you're in a clear spot where you see that kind of thing, hang tight for a couple hours because you're going to see it again. They'll be back to the same spot. Kind of wild, right? I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or Starlink. Anyway, back to the Amazon here. This is staggering to me. So this Amazon tribe gets internet access. And the opportunity, I say, of course, because if you have the internet, you have the world's resources, the world's knowledge at your fingertips. You can access the outside world anywhere in the world you want to go, any information you want about anything. So if I am a Amazon tribe, I'm thinking better bow techniques, irrigation, medicine, access to anything, like just how to make life better for us here in our little Amazon tribe area, right? Nope. 2,000 member Marubo tribe got access to the internet thanks to Starlink 9 months ago. So it's been 9 months. I kid you not. They're not using it for to better themselves. They are hooked on adult entertainment websites, and the younger kids are just that's all they do now. Yeah. Welcome to Screen Time, Marubo tribe. Isn't that wild? Yeah. You have every piece of information right there for you. Every piece of the world's information you can learn history. You can learn the history of your tribe. You can learn techniques of other tribes. You can find out if there's any tribes near you. Yeah. Google Earth, find out new places to go. Nope. Straight to Pornhub. I'm blown away. Just absolutely. I shouldn't be blown away, but I mean, holy mackerel. So again, why do I bring this up? Seems more of a Russell and Hunter kind of vibe. I bring this up because we do have access to all of the information for our outdoor world. Google Earth, OnX Hunt is probably the two most valuable hunting sites you can have, because you can go pre-scout your unit from your couch. You could have a baseball game on and just sit there. What are you doing? I'm scouting. Look at this. I'm not doing what the Marubo tribe did. I'll tell you what. Wink, wink. This was it's you can see topographic map. You don't even have to know topographic maps. You can get a satellite view of where water is, where the valleys are, where the roads are. And that's a great tip if you're using this type of thing to pre-scout your area. If you're using Google to pre-scout your area, you're looking at road access, how to get to certain points. If I see that a place is, now again, hunters and anglers, we morph into our target species. It should be clinical, but we just accept it as okay. This seems like a great elk spot. This seems like a great deer spot, javelina, whatever it is, because of the shelter, the valley, the water. Look for a road that goes right near there, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. If you find an elk, you take the elk, and you can now move your truck to it. But you can do all of that from right here in your studio, right your couch, right wherever you are. You can do that. And I think that's again, because we're like, oh, the internet, and look at this example of this tribe, and they just went straight to porn. And this again, social media can be used for good. Social media is now this show. This show's social media. I hope it's good, right? It's not nefarious. It's just having a fun conversation about one of the greatest gifts that will ever be handed to us, and that's the outdoors. But I understand the evils of social media. I understand how disgusting social media can be. I do. I live it. I have comment sections where just absolutely mind-blowing things that people say. And it's just an ugly thing. And I think probably the darkest part of our society is internet chat rooms and internet comment sections. Social media, the social media comment section. It's just bad. And so the good there is things like this program, where we talk about, we learn, we laugh, We celebrate at times, and we have cool conversations. And the Arizona anglers, Arizona fishing guides, the different social media sites you can go to where you're learning, where you're actually teaching yourself something, where you're learning how to tie knots that you didn't know how to tie. I tie one. I'll say this very honestly. I tie one type of fishing knot. One. That's it. I am almost proficient at tying a leader. I'm just terrible. I'm all thumbs. I don't understand the concept of it. I can't grasp. I don't know why it doesn't work. Every time I'm like, I nailed it, and I pull those two lines, it goes, and it's done. Like, great. Okay. I guess I just wasted 15 minutes. Here we go. Let's waste another 15 minutes. And I try, but I learn online step-by-step tutorials, and I'm trying to do that. And I get that on social media. Yeah. Yeah. You don't even tie your shoes anymore. Grizz, okay, a little ABC about me. Grizz, you and I are walking the same way. I absolutely hate tying shoes. I can't stand it. I actually, when I saw Nando out in the back, and I was like, oh, crap, I'm going to go grab some lettuce from a man over here. And I just slipped my tennis shoes on because they're already tied. I slip them on and off. I don't need to have them locked down on my feet unless I'm doing some hiking or something like that. But other than that, I am not going to tie shoes. In the winter, I'm a boot guy. I just slide on my boots. In the summer, I'm a flip-flop guy. Slide on my flip-flops. Done. But I can learn how to tie different knots on, you brought the Kizik's. Oh, slip-ons. Nice. Oh, heck yeah. Reef. I love Reef. I love Reef flip-flops. I have the Reef shoes that you just slide on. It's fine. They're like, my intern Beans goes, hey, Dad, did you buy Hey Dudes? And I'm like, Hey Dudes? I thought she was insulting me. I didn't even know what Hey Dudes were. She was insulting. Like, hey, you want some Hey Dudes? No, that's a real thing. They're huge. You can get baseball team Hey Dudes, American flag Hey Dudes. You can get, it's kind of wild. Yeah, this is slip-on boat shoes is all they are. Yeah. I'm back in the Sperry Topsider days. I never had any, but I mean, I worked at a shoe store. Yes, you can go ahead and call me Al Bundy. That's fine. I worked at a shoe store. We sold the hell out of those things. In Southern California, I mean, they're legitimate boat shoes. So anyway, back to the social media. There is good and redeeming values of social media, but there's ugly parts. The internet, same thing at whole. So let me give you a quick example. I was on our YouTube channel. I was talking about the iguanas. We had a little cut up of one of the shorts that we posted was about the iguanas, the Florida invasive iguana problem, where they've just opened it up. You can hunt from your porch. Just kill them. Get rid of these things. And it's not working. I mean, they're still just multiplying faster, and people are taking them out because I guess the word isn't getting out that that's what you're supposed to do. So I get a comment said, now I'm just thinking about iguana nachos. And I was like, ugh, really? Iguana nachos? What do? Launch social media. Guess what I found? Recipes for iguana. They call them the chicken of the trees. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? But I have all this access for good that I get to use social media internet for. And I'm telling you, I'm going to try iguana. It's now on the list. I want to try them all. I'll try reptiles all day. Alligator. I have not had alligator or crocodile. You all know how to see the difference between a alligator and a crocodile? How to tell the difference? Alligator and crocodile? When you see later, when you see after a while. Yeah. I'll show myself. But I want to try this. Because now I get to go on there and find. You know what I found? A recipe for chili relleno casserole. I know it has nothing to do with the outdoors, but I can outdoor. Trust your host, Mike. I can do this. I can outdoor the hell out of it. I'm probably going to do it on the smoker. So it's going to be smoked chili relleno casserole. And these guys waste this opportunity. This whole damn tribe wasting the opportunity trying to find the nakeds. There's so many jokes here that are just wildly inappropriate that I am learning. I am growing. Whew. Yeah. And that's another thing. Rob and I have been constrained by the FCC. We can't say certain things. We can't say naughty words. Yeah, and for years we didn't. We know we can't say certain things. Can't say certain things about certain people. Can't say certain things about anything. And now I'm just streaming. And now we're just streaming. There's no restraints. but we have to keep the restraints on because we're just kind of cool family programming. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. And Lynn, I think it's not good for a lot of people's addiction problems. I think internet leads to a lot of addiction. Social media leads to a lot of addiction. And it normalizes a lot of, and the problem is, I think at least, that it normalizes the problem. Oh, bless their heart, kind of thing. Like it's a thing. And there's a lot of things popping in my head right now that I should not say. But again, I dealt with addiction in my life. I've done my dad gambled us into oblivion playing the ponies. I mean, he had a gambling addiction. I understand that. And the internet and social media, yeah, they do have redeeming value. And my addiction is hunting and fishing equipment, and my addiction is getting out and hunting and fishing and camping and all that. I got a little staycation coming up this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. Just being outside. Very excited about that. Just me and the lady. So I understand exactly what you said, Lennon. It was so it's not good for addictions. It isn't, but it's here. And again, we can make that choice for good. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay, Grizz. Yeah, and that's why I always say I'm about to post a video about grip and grins. And if you don't know what grip and grins are taking a picture of what you just shot or what you just caught, and you take a picture with it. It's called a grip and grin. You're gripping like the antlers and your cheese. Grip and grins. And are they good for our cause? Are they good for outreach? Are they good or are they bad? And I said it several times. Be nice, be civil, and let's have this conversation. Is it or isn't it? If you're for it, great. If you're not for it, great. Just say why and say it civilly. But then, as Grizz just pointed out, that a lot of the people on the internet that are nefarious and just big fat jerks hide behind either a burner account or just a fake account where they can just be mean and they can just hurt people and try to attack people. Yeah. And then when you turn it off, you're a different person. Exactly. Like, ooh, let me get my mean on. And by the way, I'm sorry I'm meandering through this, but it's just everything you're bringing up such great points. We are a tough group. I took intern Beans on the trip with my girlfriend and her family. And I think there were several times where the family was a little surprised at Beans like trash talking. I taught my kids how to trash talk because I wanted my kids to be tough when it comes to the outdoors. In the outdoors, we talk so much trash to each other. So much trash. I have Princess Slavo's Watusi skull in my living room right now. And I took a picture because they're not down here, they're at their cabin. But if I took a picture and I sent it to them. In the back of it, in the background, is my Watusi on the wall, which is significantly smaller. Do you know what Princess Slavo said? Oh, is that Uncle Mike's baby Watusi on the wall? We talk trash. That's what we just talk trash. Everybody does. And I wanted my kids to have thick skin. So I hope that it is translated as they're on social media, that they are not bothered by what people say. Because in the outdoor world, trash talking is king. Tomorrow, y'all, is FAFO Friday. And I got a good one for you. It was brought to mind by yesterday's conversation about boat ramps. It's going to be fun. FAFO Friday is tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Be here. We're going to start off with John Colazar from the Arizona Big Game Super Raffle, and then we'll get to all the fun and hilarity of FAFO Friday. We're going to do that tomorrow right here, 11 o'clock on The Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of the state world that we live in. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.